Hello people, welcome to this episode of CGTN live stream. I am CGTN reporter Xu Xinchen. This building is the Xiong'an Railway Station. That's the station that, the building that we're going to discover all about it just in a little bit. But however, look over there, look over here on my left. My left, your right. The grassland. 5 years ago, this area of China has been looking like just like that. Grasslands, farmlands, very green, very ecological, but there hasn't been a city like this. And since 5 years ago, China has started to establish this so-called Xiong'an New Area to help facilitate the growth of the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei economic circle. And it's been 5 years, and there are being skyscrapers and huge mega construction like this being built up. And this station is as big as 66 soccer fields. That's how big is this place. And speaking of the new area, the Xiong'an New Area is twice the size of New York City. And of course, a lot of people might know Beijing, the capital of China, has been very crowded, and the solution the country had discovered to somewhat help facilitate the traffic or other non-capital functions from Beijing, they decided to have this Xiong'an New Area just about 2 hours drive, but with high-speed rail, the time has been cut by half. And actually, the main topic for today is about high-speed rail here in China. But it's more than just the rails or the bullet trains. It's about the surrounding, all the supporting structures, the stations, and we're going to learn all of that. But first, I'm going to speak to one of the engineers or the person who constructed this new area. He had been involved in this construction of this new area. We have Wang Jianxun, an engineer from China City Constructions. Say hi to our viewers.
Hello.
So first, let's talk about this. 王老师啊，您是什么时候来到了雄安？
我是到2020年的年底。
2020年的年底啊。
对。
I just asked Mr. Wang like when he first actually came to Xiong'an, and Mr. Wang said by the end of 2020. 但您其实不是河北或者是北京这一带的人，对吗？
对，我的老家是在长春。
口音有一点能听出来。So actually, Mr. Wang originally from northeast China in Changchun City, and that's actually about 8 hours drive, but also that journey has been cut by half because of high-speed rail. But today we're going to talk more about the stations and high-speed rails, but your company actually helped construct a lot of the facilities, the supporting structures to support this gigantic railway station, as big as 66 soccer fields. So what are some of that? I've learned that the pipe gallery surrounding this has been very special, and what are some of the characteristics of that? 因为讲到其实雄安站，我们建了很多这种辅助性的一个设施嘛，周边这些，比如说我们的这个管廊啊，就这个能具体跟我们讲一下这个管廊这个设备它是一个什么样的一个样子啊，是一个什么样的结构，然后它能给雄安站带来哪些帮助吗？
好，这个雄安新区啊，它的建设呢，它最初的意向是打造一种生态宜居的一个城区，然后的理念呢，还是叫数字雄安，就是智慧城市建设。
对。
所以说在这个雄安新区建设过程中呢，采用了很多一些创新技术，比如说刚才您说的，就是围绕咱们这个雄安高铁站周围的配套设施管廊，它采用一种叫共仓理念，它能够实现的管线集运，包括这个叫运维的一个共享的一种理念城市。
翻译一下啊。So I just asked Mr. Wang about like the supporting facilities surrounding the Xiong'an station and what are some of the characteristics or charms of that. And Mr. Wang told me that the development of Xiong'an New Area has put ecological balance at the front. As I have mentioned, 5 years ago, it's been all grassland farmlands in this area, but right now there have been like buildings and structures to help to build the city and to keep the growth of this region. And Mr. Wang said that ecological balance has still been a very important role and task in terms of constructing the new city. And also Mr. Wang told me about the pipe gallery and it has been an integrated system, and to make Xiong'an smart and clean, and we're going to learn more about that. 但讲这个管廊，就是你讲这个智能化啊，
对，
是怎么理解这个智能化？
它这个传统的那个咱们这个叫管廊吧，它相对来说它是叫各设备的独立空间，包括它的一些照明啊，包括它这个消防设施啊，它相对来说就是它是系统独立，但是话就是不能有效的利用它这个空间共享。咱们这个综合管廊技术呢，这个雄安新区呢，它采用叫多层多舱的一种结构体系。最上层呢，比如咱们这个叫物流通道，咱们这些无人驾驶的汽车呀，包括一些快速物流啊，就可以采用这个最上层。中间层呢，主要是叫疏散层，人员疏散，包括一些功能性用房的一些设备层。最下层呢，就是咱们一些电线电缆啊。这个能源啊，包括一些配套的一些综合管线，最下层正好有效的就把这个空间这个共享，能够这个使用的空间最大化，这也是资源的一个整合跟利用，这也是咱一个创新点。
所以有3层，只有最底下是线。
最底下是一些，比如说这个燃气的包括这个电力的一些叫功能性的一些管网的一些综合，它是包括一些检修井啊，包括这一些检查井啊，它就可能就那个3层共享了，所以说它是这种集成手段。叫推行的叫仓储共享的一种理念。
So actually, Mr. Wan further explained the charms and characteristics of this pipe gallery, not just surrounding the Xiong'an railway station, but is actually scattered in this new area. So there are 3 different levels, and at the very bottom level is of course is for the pipes. For gas, for water, etc. But there are 2 other levels that is for more like to help to facilitate other functions of the city, for example, like courier services, and to put like robotic machines in those pipes that can actually better use the room and the environment underneath of the city. And also, I just learned, as I have learned earlier, is about like how these pipe gallery can facilitate the growth of the railway station, like pumping up gas or water into it to meet its utility needs. So basically, it's an integrated system. It's not just about the underneath pipe galleries. It's not just about a station. It's all in one. It's about this whole structure of building this new idea of a city, smart city. But again, high-speed rail. Here in China has reached over 40,000 kilometers of high-speed rail that can circle the Earth equator very easy and fast. And there have been 5,000 railway stations that can actually let high-speed rails to pass. And there are 50 or more than 50, around 50 of those stations are the size of the Xiong'an station. And I got some B-roll shots to just give our viewers a perspective of how fast and how large the scale of a high-speed rail is, while that our viewers can see the images and we're going inside of the station. By the way, this is a huge station and it's not yet 100% complete. The main structure has been complete and there are bullet trains passing through these railway stations already, but it's not 100% complete. And it's not just large in size, it's also smart inside, and we're going to learn more about that in just a little bit. But coming back to building structures like this, Xiong'an is twice as New York City. And there are a lot of different zones and different districts. So tell us a little bit, what are the core difference or the core blocks of constructions here happening here in the new area? 因为讲到其实雄安新区有很多不同的片区嘛，然后它的面积其实是像纽约的2倍这样子的。我们现在有哪些其他在修建的？就比如说让我们这个城市的建设的一些其他的项目吗？
好。先说咱们雄安高铁站吧，它是一个重要的交通枢纽，它这个实现了叫以站促城，是吧？交通先行的一种理念。然后紧接着，其实我是刚才是跟您介绍的是2000年起来的雄安嘛，当然也正值这个雄安一个大干快上的一个建设阶段。首先呢，雄安启动了一个叫市民中心，这也是重要的一个指挥部。然后
我先翻译一下啊。So basically, Mr. Wan said, the construction of Xiong'an new area all started with this kind of communication hub, traffic hub, and it kind of spread out to build other structures. For example, there is a service like government building that the city hall structure. That's when he first came here and joined back by the end of 2020. 那讲这市民中心 当时怎么了？
身份中心现在已经建设完成了，它也是新区重要的建设一个组成部分，包括这个新区建设的一个叫安置区，叫安置房，这也是疏解当地老百姓的一个安置条件的。现在老百姓已经全部还迁了。同步的建设的咱们配套的一些基础设施，包括市政路，包括一些酒店，包括这些市场化的项目已经开始大规模在建设了。这也是为后续外部的人才的引进创造了一个基础条件。
And Mr. Wang further explained that surrounding that city hall, there have been other housing placements built. And because of, as I mentioned, 5 years ago, there were only grasslands, farmlands. So the government has to, get lands from the people. And that's the way, now, there have been, apartments built to actually give back to people used to live nearby so that they can have an apartment and a place to live. And that's also very, very important. Speaking of the pipe gallery, and originally my plan was actually go underneath to give our viewers a really in-depth look of that pipe gallery, but then because of signal issues, we cannot really do that. But it is a concrete structure. It's very tall. It's over my height. I'm 5'11". And it can let 2 people to walk inside the pipe gallery. So that is quite different from traditional Chinese pipe galleries. Usually will be narrower shape in round shapes, but this is a square. It's like a hallway with all the machines and the pipes and smart technologies installed there. But coming back to high-speed rail, because you're from northeast of China, and where actually high-speed link has been very crowded, have been busy over there. Tell us about your experience with China's high-speed rail, especially in the past decade. 因为讲到其实我们建设也好像你讲我们从交通辐射到其他的新区的建设啊，高铁其实是算是现在我们中国的一个国际名片嘛。
对。
就您对高铁自己来说，不单单是建设者，而是从这种比如说使用者。顾客来讲，您对高铁有什么印象深刻的事情吗？
这个从自身对这个高铁的一个体会吧，因为这个老家是在吉林长春嘛，那时候距离咱们这个天津和北京都是1000公里以上。那时候传统的时候，咱们这个叫绿皮火车吧，对，包括咱普通的交通工具，可能要11个小时才能到达。现在有这个高铁应用呢，可能就4个小时。到6个小时就马上就是快速能抵达咱们的目的地了。所以说它这个比较便捷。包括咱们现在飞机虽然它快速，但是它要安检啊，包括这个登机牌的一个检验啊，这一系列的算下来时间还比较长，所以说这个高铁的应用确实给我们带来很大的一些便利。
So I just asked Mr. Wang previously about his own experience with China's high-speed rail. He's from northeast of China, and he works in Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei region, this area. And his hometown is over 1,000 kilometers away from this area. And it used to take him to travel on regular slow trains about 10 hours on the rail. But because of China's high-speed rails, the time right now spent traveling could be 4 or even sometimes under 4 hours. And that's definitely the time-saving factors of China's high-speed rails. And also Mr. Wang made a very interesting comparison between air travel versus high-speed rail here in China. Of course, there is a airline route, a flight between Beijing to Changchun, Mr. Wang's hometown, but people have to go through all that security checks. And we might, of course, from people from around the world, we all have this experience. When we want to get onto a flight, we need to get to the airport early, perhaps 2 hours early. But for high-speed rails, perhaps just half hours early. So we don't really have that much of a waiting time or go through a long line of securities. And for sometimes, a lot of time, high-speed rail travel can be the more optimum choices for people here in China. So, actually, thank you so much, Mr. Wang, for joining us and telling us all these stories of your experience here in Xiong'an and, of course, your experience with high-speed rail. And thank you so much. 谢谢你啊. So I'm going to continue my journey. As I have mentioned, we're actually going inside the railway station. It's a huge station, to be honest. Earlier today, I was just circling around this place, and he's been giving me some of a workout. Oh, and by the way, this area, look at that. That's the service. They have integrated service center. Integration has been very important here in China. It can be the technologies or about services provided to its people. And this is one of the entrances. Oh, by the way, we are in the East Square. But as I have mentioned, the construction of the main building completed, but not 100% of the station has been opened to the public. Just a part of it has been opened. And we're actually going inside. And this area will be linkage to like buses, taxis, and definitely, I think, with my experience traveling to other high-speed rail stations, there will be other like retailers, other commercial functions coming inside, like fast food restaurants, convenience stores, and etc. And let me introduce my second guest, because we are going inside of that railway station. We have Liu Dongmei here, and she is the deputy station master for Xiong'an Railway Station. But we are going inside. I need to also wear my mask as well. 刘镇长，我们先打个招呼吧。
你好，大家好。
Great, and let's just say hi to our viewers. Let's go inside. So, I've told our viewers like how big this station is, about 66 soccer fields. Tell us a little bit more about the size of this station. 就刚才其实我已经和观众朋友讲了一下，就是这个我们整个雄安高铁站它有像66个足球场这么大啊，它具体到底有多大呀？这是它这个大的概念。
雄安站的总体面积呢是47.52万平方米。
47.52万平方米，对吗 ？Let me translate that. That's the total square footage of this.
47.52万平方米。
It's over 470,000 square meters. That's a lot of square footage, a square meter. I mean, the size of this. 然后我们其他的一些就是来对比是66个足球场那么大吗？
对。
但是它其实还有不同的楼层，对不对？
对，咱们雄安站的整体建筑结构呢，一共有5层，它是地上3层，地下2层。我们现在要进入的就是我们的首层的候车大厅。
So actually, there are 5 floors inside of the railway station. There are 3 levels above the ground and 2 levels underneath the ground. And we're actually entering the first floor, or if you are from the UK, this is the ground floor. And usually for people, when they go inside of the station, they need to use this little machine to scan the ID cards or QR codes, or even have a facial recognition to go inside. Because I don't really have a ticket today, I have my special clearance and go inside over here. Let's come inside. 其实我们现在主要就是一层是一个主要的功能是。
一层就是咱们旅客的这个进站候车，这是首层的候车大厅。
So basically, the first floor is the waiting area, and of course there are security checks. I'm beeping because I'm all wired up. I don't have anything, like anything that is not allowed to enter the station. 但其实我们可以看到是很广阔，但是我们现在目前是只有这一半是开放了，对吗？
对，现在我们开放的这个候车厅呢，就是京雄场京雄场这一部分。目前我们天津场那边呢，还没有开放。
So look at this. The area that we're entering now is basically the direction go to the Beijing direction. That's the half that is already open. And right now, high-speed rails between Beijing to Xiong'an is running through this station. But right over there, and we can see the cover, the barrage right over there. And the other side, it goes to Tianjin. And it's not yet open, not yet ready. So let me explain a little bit about the Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei economic circle. So basically, China has different economic zones, like the Yangtze Delta region, spread out around Shanghai, and of course the Greater Bay Area with Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Hong Kong, and Macau, and the cluster of different cities to work together to really somewhat to feed each other's needs and to grow regional economy faster and more coherently. And the Tianjin, Beijing, Hebei economic circle is aimed to achieve just like that. However, Xiong'an is basically, it's not really the center of this economic circle, but it serves as a very important traffic link, transportation link. Because right now, with this station open, partially open, and of course will be open fully, the commute time between Beijing to Xiong'an to Tianjin will be cut into a half-hour time zone, and that will definitely better facilitate regional cooperation here in this area. But speaking of what I'm seeing here, I think these are the checkpoints. 这些都是我们的那个进站口，对吧？检票的这个。
对，这是我们的检票口。
哦，我们现在有多少个检票口啊？
我们现在启用的是南北两侧一共14个检票口。
现在启用了14个。
对。
但一共
有24个检票口。
So actually, there are 24 checkpoints like this to check in your tickets and go onto the platform and to wait to board your trains. But right now, it's like 14 of those 24 are open again. So right now, we are only seeing trains into the Beijing directions, and the other side is to the Tianjin directions. So what I'm seeing here, this is the elevator. But over here, I see this stamp. 这是个装饰品呢，还是我们？
就是我们每个检票口的玻璃幕墙上都有印章装饰勾勒出来的24节气。就比如说我们现在的这个4B、5B 的检票口上面是冬至的节气。每个节气呢旁边配有一首节气诗。
好的。So basically, again, so there are 24 different like checking points. So we can see there are 24 like these elevators, and on each of these, on the glass wall, there will be decorations to actually to reflect China's 24 different solar terms. And this is the arrival of winter. And there will be a poem next to it to further explain that solar term. And that's a very easy one to translate, 冬至, the arrival of winter. But there are definitely a lot more. If you're interested, perhaps check it out. So the 24 different terms. So how many people can actually be in this station? 就是我们讲到，我们的是承载能量，承载量现在是一个什么样的状况呢？就它的设计的能够有多少人穿过这个我们的雄安站？就我们现在的客流量是多少啊？
我们现在呢，就是从开站，我们是2020年12月27号是开站第一天，到现在呢，我们是往返运送的旅客有102万人次其中我们发送了54万人次，到达呢是48万人次。
So basically, the train station opened this half by the end of 2020, and so far over a million passengers have transited from this station, and the incoming trains with passengers passenger flow of like over 500,000, and of course to send off another 500,000. And I just learned the design capacity for this station, where the anticipated passenger flow in the future can reach about 100,000 passengers a day. So that will be the people passing through this region and work in Beijing or Tianjin and live in Xiong'an or whatnot. And with this, I've never seen this in other types of high-speed rail stations. What is really is this? 就其实我讲到，就是我在别的高铁站可能没看到这个装置啊，这是一个什么？
这是我们的一个智能化的服务设备。在我们的1楼候车大厅呢，矗立着22个这样的风柱，学名叫岛式风亭。它里面呢是集成了多种的这种智能化的装置，有这个空调机组、空气净化器、地暖装置、5G 信号放大器、消防报警器 集成了这些智能化的装置，它可以实现我们高大候车空间的温度、湿度和空气质量的一个均衡的控制。
So basically, what we're seeing this structure is like a tower, but it does a lot of things. For example, the temperature, the humidities levels are basically tracked by this box, this structure, and inside, if of course it's integrated with the emergency fire distinguishers, and also it can boost 5G cellular signals, and of course we can see the civilian cameras. And this is the thing that I've been mentioning about why this railway station is smart, because this machine can know the temperature itself and know the humidities and to keep the level steady. Oh, by the way, the heating structure is also, the heating pipes, the control of the heating of this station is also integrated right over there. So there, I saw these huge wheels. It's like a clock. What is that? 就我们其实看到前面有这个很大的这个就像表一样啊，大盘，这是个什么？
这是我们一个雄安站的一个地标性的标志，它叫千年轮。清华大学美院设计的。千年轮。我们可以走近看一看。
好的。So basically, we have a millennial wheel. That's Miss Liu told me. This structure is huge. It's pretty big. I saw it when I first entered this station, and it's a very long walk from the place that we entered into the railway station. But I had to really show our viewers the ambition of the plan of building high-speed the Xiong'an new area, and of course the use of this station. I can see right over there on this. This is the screen. This is LED screen, I think, and on top of on the displaying on the screen, those are the trains. Like from Xiong'an to Beijing, West Beijing, Beijing Xi Station, West Beijing Station, were trains from Beijing to Xiong'an. But this is really the cute part, or the mystery part, mysterious part. So this is a Millennium Circle, I think. 这其实就是个像表盘一样的吧？
对，这就是我们的一个这个轮盘，它是属于数字轮盘。您看它这是有5部分，秒针、分针、时针、天轮、年轮。秒分时显示的就是当前的时间。这个天轮呢，它这是从2020年12月27号，开站第1天算到今天的这个天数。然后最外圈的这个年轮呢，它是如果转1圈的话，是需要整整1000年的时间。
So look at this. This is like an analog watch. So that's the second, the minute, the hour, the day, and the years. That's 1,000 years. It's also the whole circle is 1,000 years, and also the starting point is 1,000 years. As we have mentioned earlier, this train station started, opened partially on December 27th, 2020, and that's when the clock started to start ticking, and that's the day of the year. So it's about a whole year plus 270 days. And right now it's just past 2:30. That's cute. And people, that can be a place for if you decided to visit Xiong'an's new area, Xiong'an Station, and take a photo with us. That can be a touristy spot. And over there, I can see the tablet of Xiong'an Station. So there is a Xiong'an Station right outside of the structure, and there is a tablet. And that's quite interesting here in China. It always have two, like one name displayed on outside of that train station, and then there will be a tablet inside. 讲到其实我们这个雄安站这个匾啊，横匾，其实是不是也挺讲究的？
对，我们这个牌匾呢，它有一个特殊的设计，中间是榜书题写的"雄安站"3个大字，下面呢是铜铸的英文字母。它最有特色的是中间灰白色的部分，它灰白色的部分呢是用4公斤鸭蛋壳碾碎镶嵌到4公斤鸭蛋壳碾碎镶嵌到上面的。 它是采用大漆工艺里面的贴鸭蛋壳的一个技法。
So look at that tablet displaying there. So for the font, of course, is Chinese characters, and underneath it has Xiong'an Railway Station. And underneath those characters, we can see the little materials used to make the tablet actually is from crushed duck eggshells. That's interesting because actually this part of the town is actually famous for its duck egg producing duck eggs. Again, 其实讲到鸭蛋，是因为其实雄安地区的它的特产，对吧？
因为雄安新区它拥有华北明珠白洋淀嘛，白洋淀它的特产就是鸭蛋。
So there is a wetland near Xiong'an New Area, the Baiyangdian, and the local specialty is the duck eggs. And speaking of the ecological balance of this new area, 70% of this new city will be in forestry, greeneries, and etc. That's according to the construction plan earlier rolled out by the country's government. And now actually we are go on top of the platform and to really see the rails and the platforms. Some viewers might be a little bit curious about why it's quite empty here in this station. As I mentioned, it's just opened and it's partially opened. So there, and of course the city is being built. Well, there will be more people coming inside. Like earlier, we spoke to the engineer from China State Constructions, Mr. Wan Jianxun, about there have been housing placements already installed, and people have been moved back to this area of the town, and there is a city hall already in use. And of course this station, and we're going on to the second floor. It's a very tall floor. 请想到，我们是在头顶上走高铁，楼下是候车，对吗？
对，咱们现在要去的呢就是2层的站台层。那么站台层呢，它是相当于列车运行的轨道层。刚才咱们所在的位置就是候车厅相当于是咱们在头顶上跑火车。
其实这个高度是有10米上的，对吧？
有16米多。
有16米多啊。
有16米多。
So each floor, look how large this escalator is. So for the height between the first floor and the second floor is over 16 meters, and it's not rare, but it's becoming more common here in China with the newer railway stations, especially running a lot more high-speed rails. With its platforms on the second level instead of underneath of the waiting room. I just learned earlier with a train expert, it's because for the high-speed rail is always elevated. It's not like traditional tracks on the ground. Look at this. 我们讲到我们站台是有多少啊？
咱们车站呢，一共是有13台23线。
13台23线。
对。
So there are 13 platforms and 23 different train routes lines, 23 lines. 这个之后其实就分的就是
有京雄厂，咱们现在正在启用的是7台12线。
7台12线。And right now 7 platforms are in use and 12 lines. Go to the direction of Beijing, the capital of China, and of course some trains will, in the future, will be able to travel to Tianjin, and that will help to achieve that half-hour commute circle here in this area. And 谢谢您刘站长啊，谢谢您。So come over here. Let's have a closer look at the tracks. High-speed rails here in China. I need to mention this. Look, how, and at the end, that's how we have different lines of tracks, and then it will go to, to connect with each other. And during the past decade, that's really when China's high-speed rails links grew drastically from less than 10,000 kilometers to 40,000 kilometers a day. And again, that can circle the Earth equator easy. And of course, as I have mentioned, thanks to the high-speed rail and thanks to Xiong'an Station, and possibly in the future, people can reach Beijing, commute between Beijing, Tianjin, and Xiong'an within half an hour. And right now, China's newest model, or not really newest model, the newest running models can reach a speed of 350 kilometers per hour. Let's just give our viewers a look more directions of the tracks. So I've talked with another expert, train experts, about how China has achieved so fast during the past decade, and he told me that because China has to conquer a lot of things. There are high-speed rails in the mountains to pass through rivers, and in June 2020, the International Union of Railways published the world's first international standard for high-speed railway construction, and it was drafted by a group of experts from different countries led by China. And we've seen China railways being built in other countries, and stations like this being built by China State Constructions or other builders across the world. And we can definitely see China's high-speed rails is not just reaching Chinese people's doorsteps, but also reaching the world. And hopefully that you found this live stream interesting, and stay tuned that I'm going to visit more mega structures like this and to show you the charm, the characteristics of China's engineering here at home. And thanks for watching.